The, from my own perspective, both as an indigenous person and as the chair of the United Nations Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues, the main concern that we have in relation to RED is really how do you involve and ensure the effective and full participation of peoples whose livelihoods, whose lives, and whose cultures are significantly dependent on the conservation and the integrity of tropical forests. Because for RED, we are really talking about tropical forests in developing countries. So the main question for us, and this is what we have been fighting for in the negotiations happening here as well as at the national level, is the measures that are going to be taken to fully involve peoples who have lived, who are living in the forest, who are dependent on the forest, and who have sacrificed their lives to really protect these forests. And so we have been actively involved in the negotiations, and I am also here as a member of the Philippine delegation, and I was assigned to do the negotiations on RED. And I would like to report to you that as of yesterday, we finally got reference, we finally got in the text paragraphs that at least refers to these questions or issues that we are most concerned about. So in the latest draft of the text of RED, you will see that there's now a paragraph which says, respect for the knowledge, just before that paragraph it says, further affirms that when undertaking activities referred to in paragraph 1, which are the scope of RED plus activities, the following safeguards should be promoted. And it goes on to say, respect for the knowledge and rights of indigenous peoples and members of local communities, noting that the General Assembly has adopted the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and taking into account international obligations, national circumstances, and legislation. So we managed to get this text there, which has been a very difficult battle because, of course, we have had a great resistance from the US and Canada and New Zealand. But fortunately, at the last hours of the negotiation, they agreed, and they agreed to this text. So for indigenous peoples and local communities, I think this is one of the safeguards that will ensure our participation in making decisions and reforming policies, as well as developing programs that will be respectful of our rights. But these are not just the safeguards we are looking for. What Ariel had said in terms of governance, we also managed to get text on governance which says transparent and effective forest governance structures and accessible support mechanisms. And these are crucial because even if we are able to get the other safeguards, if the governance structures are not transparent and we are not able to influence these structures, then it will also not lead to the success of RED. And the other safeguard that has been put into place are actions that are consistent with the conservation of natural forests and biological diversity, including safeguards on the conversion of natural forests and enhancing other social and environmental benefits. There's still a debate on the conversion of natural forests, but we are hopeful that we will be able to get this. So these are the three safeguards that are very crucial for us and that what we think are very important for the success of RED. If you are going to exclude the ones who have really been the main custodians and stewards of the forest, then we believe that the chances of RED going to succeed is going to be very small. And finally, I would just like to say that the implementation part of this RED text in terms of ensuring the full and effective participation of indigenous peoples, and in terms of monitoring and implementing the safeguards that are mentioned are also in the text. And in the text on a subsidiary body for scientific and technological advice, they already have agreed that there will be a workshop that will work further on the guidance that will be developed to ensure that the norm standards on ensuring the effective participation of indigenous peoples and local communities are going to be put in place. So we are hopeful that with these texts that are there in the document as of now, this will be translated at the national level. Some policies will be moving towards being changed to respect these rights, and also, of course, mechanisms are put in place that will involve the indigenous peoples and local communities in decision making. Thank you very much.